Good afternoon, sir. This is April Joy Saras Intorio, a BSE M4, and I'm going to tackle about the RAs 8479. Republic Act number 8479, also known as the Downstream Oil Industry Deregulation Act of 1998, is a law in the Philippines that aims to liberalize and deregulate the downstream oil industry. The law was enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines in Congress assembled on February 10, 1998. The importance of RE 8479 lies in its objectives and impact on the industry. The law promotes a competitive market by allowing more players to enter the downstream oil sector, fostering fair pricing, ensuring a continuous and sufficient supply of high-quality petroleum products, and encouraging investments in infrastructure and technology. By deregulating the industry, RE 8479 aims to enhance competition, promote efficiency, and provide consumers with more choices and better services. It also seeks to attract local and foreign investments, stimulate economic growth, and contribute to the development of the energy sector in the Philippines. So overall, Republic Act 8479 plays a crucial role in shaping the downstream oil industry in the Philippines, fostering competition and ensuring the availability of affordable and high-quality petroleum products for consumers. Next is the objective. The main objective of the law is to foster a competitive market in the oil industry. It aims to ensure the availability of fair prices and a continuous supply of environmentally clean and high-quality petroleum product. So, deregulation. The law led to the regulation of the oil industry in the Philippines. This meant the government would longer control the pricing and importation of oil products. The act deregulates the downstream oil industry, which includes the importation, exportation, manufacturing, marketing, and distribution of petroleum products. Penal sanctions. Any person who violates any of the provisions of the act shall suffer penalty of 3 months to 1 year imprisonment and a fine ranging from 50,000 pesos to 300,000 pesos. So, removal of Oil Price Stabilization Fund or OPSF. The law abolished the OPSF, which was a fund used by the government, the exploration oil companies for possible cost under recovery incurred due to price controls and adjustment. Promotion of free market competition. The law encourages competition and prevents cartels, mono- monopolies, and predatory pricing in the oil industry. It also encourages new players to participate in the market. Then, consumer protection. The law includes provision to protect consumers from possible unfair pricing practices by all oil companies. Environmental consideration. The law promotes the use of cleaner and higher quality petroleum products to reduce environmental impact. Next is the Republic Act 387. So Republic Act number 387, also known as the Petroleum Act of 1949, is an important legislation in the Philippines. Its primary purpose is to promote the exploration, development, exploitation, and utilization of the petroleum resources in the country. The law aims to encourage the conservation of these resources while authorizing the Secretary of Agriculture and Natural Resources to create an administration unit and a technical board in the Bureau of Mines. The importance of RE 387 lies in its role in regulating and managing the petroleum industry in the Philippines. It provides guidelines and regulation for the exploration and extraction of petroleum resources, ensuring that these activities are conducted in a responsible and sustainable manner. The law also excuse me, helps in promoting the development of the petroleum sector, which contributes to the country's energy security and economic growth. So additionally, RA 387 establishes the authority of the Secretary of Agriculture and Natural Resources to create necessary offices and units to oversee the implementation of the law. This ensures effective governance and management of the petroleum resources in the Philippines. So, so to sum it up, RE 37 is plays a crucial role in the development, conservation, and utilization of the petroleum resources in the Philippines. It contributes to the country's energy security and to the economic progress. Next, Republic Act number 387, also known as the Petroleum Act of 1949 rather, was enacted on June 18, 1949 during the presidency of Elpidio Quirino. It was introduced to regulate and promote the development, exploitation, and utilization of petroleum in the Philippines. So, enactment and early years passed by the Congress of the Philippines and signed into law by President Elpidio Quirino in 1949 aimed to attract foreign investments in the petroleum sector, which was largely unexplored at the time, establish a regulatory framework for granting concessions for exploration, development, and production of petroleum, and the significant amendments which is 1976 created PNOC, increased government share, 1995 introduced service contracts, streamlined approvals, strengthened environmental protections. And current status is still main framework, but revisions proposed for modernization and transparency. So criticisms, complex procedures, potential environmental impact. So the main objectives of RE37 are centered around the petroleum industry and include promotion of exploration and development. The law aims to encourage the exploration and development of petroleum resources in the country. It provides guidelines and regulation for companies and individuals involved in these activities. Second is conservation of resources. RA 37 emphasizes the importance of conserving petroleum resources. It sets guidelines for responsible and sustainable practices in the extraction and utilization of these resources. The next is the regulation of the petroleum industry. The law establishes the authority of the Secretary of Agriculture and Natural Resources to create administrative units and technical boards to oversee the petroleum industry. This ensures effective governance and management industry. Last is economic development. RA 37 contributes to the economic development of the Philippines by promoting the growth of the petroleum sector. The industry plays a crucial role in providing energy, resources, and supporting various economic activities. So while RA 37 does not directly address objectives related to maintaining peace and order, protecting individual rights, or ensuring a fair and just legal system, these aspects are generally governed by other laws and regulations in the Philippines. So RE 387, also known as the Petroleum Act of 1949, as I've said, primarily focus on the regulation and promotion of the petroleum industry in the Philippines. It does not specifically outline and the principle of chemical liability, such as presumption of innocence and the elements of a crime. So, however, in general, the principles of criminal liability in the Philippines are governed by the Philippine Revised Penal Code and other relevant laws. These principles include the presumption of innocence. Under Philippine law, every person accused of a crime is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. It is the duty of the prosecution to present evidence that establishes the guilt of the accused, and then the burden of proof. The burden of proving the guilt of the accused rests with the prosecution. They must present evidence that convinces the court of the accused's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Then last is the elements of a crime. To establish criminal liability, the prosecution must prove the presence of all the elements of a specific crime. Each crime has specific elements that must be proven, such as the act, which is actus reus, and the mental state mens rea of the accused. So, these principles ensures that the criminal justice system operates fairly and justly, protecting the rights of individuals accused of crimes. It is important to note that while RA 387 does not specifically address this principle, there are fundamental principles of criminal liability that apply to the Philippine legal system as whole. So, in the Philippines, the general process of criminal procedure involves several stages, including investigation, arrest, trial, and sentencing. So, here are the brief overview of each stage. So, first is the investigation. The investigation stage is conducted by the law enforcement authorities, such as the police or the National Bureau, the National Bureau of Investigation, which is the NBI. Then, two is arrest. If there is sufficient evidence and probable cause, the law enforcement authorities may make an arrest. Three is trial. The trial stage involves the presentation of evidence and arguments from both the prosecution and the defense. Then four is sentencing. If the accused is found guilty, the court proceeds to the sentencing stage. So these are the procedures or the stages for the processing of criminal procedure here in Philippines. So, throughout the criminal procedure, matong kuan gibasa na ako, the rights of the accused are protected. Some of the rights of the accused in the Philippines include the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So, the right to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation against them, the right to be present and defend themselves in person or through legal counsel at every stage of the proceedings. So, the right to due process, which include the right to a fair and impartial trial. So, that will be all for the RE grade 7. Wait. In conclusion about this, Iterate 7 is, it is important in maintaining a just and fair society in the Philippines by regulating the petroleum industry, promoting responsible practices, and contributing to economic development, energy security. So next is the PD 117 refers to Presidential Decree number 1174, which is an amendment to Presidential Decree number 972, also known as the Coal Development Act of 1976 in the Philippines. This decree aims to provide for the active and systematic exploration, exploitation, development, disposition, and utilization of the Philippine coal resources. So this PD 1174, an amendment to the Coal Development Act of 1976 in the Philippines, plays a crucial role in regulating the exploration, extraction, utilization of coal resources in the country. The decree sets clear guidelines and regulation for the coal industry, ensuring that operations are conducted in an organized and sustainable manner. It emphasizes the importance of efficient coal utilization while also prioritizing environmental protection and safety measures. So to conclude this, PD 1174 is a significant amendment to the Coal Development Act of 1976. Nag-provide siya ng comprehensive guidelines para sa coal industry sa Pilipinas. At nag-ensure siya ng efficient and sustainable utilization sa coal resources while nag-prioritize siya ng environmental protection o safety. By implementing this regulation, ang mga gobyerno nag-aims na mag-promote ng responsible coal development and mag-contribute sa country energy needs in a sustainable manner. So, Presidential Decree number 1174, signed on July 27, 1977, served as an amendment to Presidential Decree number 972, known as the Coal Development Act of 1976. So, as what have you seen in this screen, this is the closure clock of PD 1174. So the significance is incentivizing coal exploration. So PD 1174 introduced additional incentives for private companies participating in coal development programs. These included tax breaks, reduced royalties, and streamlined bureaucratic processes, then address land acquisition, which is recognizing the potential challenges of acquiring land for coal operation. The decree granted the government the power of eminent domain for entry and use of private lands with provision for compensation to landowners. Timber rights. It addressed timber rights within coal operating contract areas, establishing regulation for their acquisition and utilization. So date of implementation is July 27, 1977. The decree immediately took effect upon its signing by then President Ferdinand Marcos. So, overall impact is PD 1174 aimed to accelerate coal exploration and development in the Philippines. So, while achieving some economic benefits, it also drew criticism for environmental concern, increased coal dependence risk, concerns about air and water pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, and ecological damage, social justice issues, the use of eminent domain and displacement of communities risk concerns about land rights and livelihoods. And last is the sustainability, dependence on a non-renewable resource like coal raise questions about long-term energy, security, and transition to cleaner alternatives. So, current status is PD 1174 along with PD 972 remains part of the legal framework governing coal activities in the Philippines. However, there are ongoing debates and discussion about revising or replacing them due to their environmental and social impacts. So, it is important to note that the implementation and significance sa PD 1174 ay complex and multifaceted with both positive and negative consequences daw. So, if the next is the key objectives of PD 1174, which remains the Coal Development Act of 1976 in the Philippines. So, are as follow. One is the active and systematic exploration. PD 1174 aims to promote the active and systematic exploration of Philippines coal resources. Then next is exploitation and development. The decree focuses on the proper exploitation and development of coal resources. Then last is the disposition and utilization. PD 1174 provides for the disposition and utilization of Philippines coal resources. So the purpose and goals of PD 1174 are to regulate and optimize the utilization of coal resources in the Philippines. So, nag-aim sa inisya para mag-ensure na ng efficient development sa coal industry, while nag-safeguarding sila sa environment at nag-promote ng welfare communities. Nag-establish sila ng clear guidelines and regulation para sa decree seeks to strike a balance between meeting the country's energy demands and pag-protect sa natural resources. The next is the critical section, mga section and regulation introduced sa PD 1174 is accelerating exploration and development. Dito ang Section 8. Nag-introduce din ng additional incentives for coal operation including na ang reimbursement of operating expenses up to 90% of gross income after reduction, granting of timber and water rights within the contract area, and nag-access sila sa government reserve lands sa subject to approval from relevant agencies. Then, napod dito ang Section 9, streamline the application para pag-process ng coal operating contracts. The next is the addressing land acquisition. Nadiri ang Section 5. Granted the government the power of eminent domain for entry and acquisition of private land for coal operation with provisions set for compensation based on fair market value. So, naapod din ang managing timber rights. Na dito ang Section 2 allowed coal operators to cut and utilize timber within their contract area subject to regulation and approved from the Bureau of Forest Development. So, provision outline procedure for solving potential conflicts with existing timber concessions. Then napo dili ang streamlining coal operating contract conversion rather. Excuse me. Napo dili ang section 6 extended the deadline for holders for existing coal permits and leases to convert them into coal operating contracts, then define the process for conversion and establish a standard format for coal operating contracts. Then I have also the alternatable provisions. Then the section 3 clarify the composition and responsibilities of the Coal Development Advisory Council. Then section 10 define the penalties for violation of the decree, including fines and imprisonment. Then last is the section 11 provided for the review and amendment of the decree as needed. So it is important to remember, diba, na these are kanina mga gipakita nako is some mga key provision right ni og sa PD 117 na nag-contains ng additional details and regulation. So the decree has been criticized for its environmental and social impacts, and its relevance in the current energy landscape is debated. So next is the while PD 117 aimed to bring positive benefits to the development, it's crucial to consider this within the context of its broader impacts and ongoing debates. So, taglaong gini sa itong pikas na page. Here is a balanced discussion. So, potential positive changes and benefits. So, naadiri ang increased coal production. The decree aimed to accelerate and coal exploration and development potential, leading to improved energy security, economic growth, and foreign investments. So, however, these potential benefits come with significant drawbacks. So, environmental concern. Increased coal dependence raises serious concerns about air and water pollution, the greenhouse gas emissions, then ecological damage. So, napo dire ang social justice issues, eminent domain provision, and potential displacement of community-raised concerns about the land rights and livelihoods, the social welfare, and the sustainability concern. Dependence on a non-renewable resource like coal raises questions about long-term energy security and the transition to cleaner alternatives. So, therefore, while PD 114 might have aim for positive economic impacts, its potential benefits are outweighed by its substantial environmental, social, and sustainability concerns. The current energy landscape prioritizes cleaner and more sustainable alternatives, with ongoing debates about phasing out coal dependence and revising regulation like PD 1174 to reflect these changing priorities. So next is the PD 1174. As an amendment to the Coal Development Act of 1976 in the Philippines is enforced through various mechanisms to ensure compliance with its provision. So here is the overview of how the compliance is enforced and the consequences of non-compliance. So first is the monitoring inspection. The DOE conducts regular monitoring og nag-inspect sila ng mga sila sa coal operation to ensure the compliance with PD 1174. So next is the compliance reporting. Coal operators are required to submit regular reports to the DOE, which is the Department of Energy, providing information on their activities, production, and adherence to the provisions of PD 1174. So 3 is the penalties and sanction. Non-compliance with the provision of PD 117 mag-result in penalties and sanction. Then 4 is the remedial action in cases of non-compliance. The Department of Energy may require coal operators to take remedial actions to rectify the violation and ensure future compliance. Then last but not the least is legal proceedings. In serious cases of non-compliance, legal action may be taken against the responsible parties. So, the enforcement of PD 1174 aims to ensure that coal operations sa Pilipinas is mag-adhere to the established regulation o mag-promote ng environmental protection, safety, and responsible resource utilization. By enforcing compliance, the government seeks to minimize the negative impacts of coal operations and safeguard the welfare of communities o sa environment. That's all. Thank you.